Meanwhile, the law has helped hold the price of health care to its slowest growth in 50 years. If your family gets insurance through your job, so you're not using the Affordable Care Act, you're still paying about $1,800 less per year on average than you would be if we hadn't done anything. This law is working exactly as it's supposed to. In many ways, this law is working better than we expected it to.
I got to tell you, I'm sure, I believe he made up that $1,800 as he went along. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Joining us now, Betsy McCaughey on the Malzberg panel, Senior Fellow, the London Center for Policy Research, Chairman of the Committee to Reduce Infectious Deaths, and former Lieutenant Governor of New York State, of course, and Adam Thompson, Senior Partner and owner of the law offices of Adam M. Thompson, criminal defense attorney, syndicated talk show host. All right, Betsy, let me start with you. I know you're extremely disappointed by what happened today.
Well, Americans should be worried about it because this court handed a huge victory to the most hated agency of the federal government, the IRS, rubber stamping IRS discretion to rewrite, revise, revamp Obamacare to suit the administration's political purposes. That's the biggest significance of this. It goes way beyond health care. It's too much executive discretion. It's a major departure from the rule of law, which is the basis of our system of government.
Adam, your legal interpretation of what happened today on the Congress, basically the majority saying that this is what Congress meant.
I'm not surprised by it at all. They ruled in the past in favor of Obamacare. You had them slanting that direction the entire time. I thought this was going to be the decision when it was finally handed down, so no surprise to me. Although there was that little clause that said they were leaving it to the states and they might have played with the interpretation of that, they went for the bigger picture, which was, listen, when Congress passed this act, Congress really meant to apply it to everyone around the country, so they weren't going to let that clause hold that back.
And let me tell you why. This decision is based on a lie. The administration's lawyers lied to the court. And the court is not a fact-finding court. The Supreme Court has to deal with whatever is presented to it. The fact is that just 20 days after this law was passed, Jonathan Gruber, that loudmouth from MIT, who was the chief architect of this law, is on video saying that subsidies will not be available in states that don't set up exchanges. The Congressional Research Office said the same thing. The IRS was put on notice again and again that what they were doing is illegal, and they did it anyway.
So why on earth, Adam, that being the case, would the majority interpret what the Congress meant as being the opposite of that?
Because I think in their mind, again, politics does enter into this, everybody knows that, but in the big picture, like I said, to push this through, they're saying that this is really what the mandate was, what the country wanted, that it was intended to apply to everyone, and a little nuance of one sentence isn't going to change
Betsy,
that.
The only
it
person
wasn't a nuance of one sentence. If you read this law, you'll see that it was constructed to give the states an incentive to create exchanges, and surprise, only 14 went along with it. That doesn't mean it was a little nuance. It was built into the law, and the chief architect of the law said so.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, Betsy, I want to ask you a question and take advantage of your expertise before we get on to the next issue. And that's going to be, you know, the only person I hear mention this anymore is nobody until Donald Trump said it when he made his presidential announcement, that people don't understand that Obamacare is not going to kick in, and the majority of people in this country aren't going to feel the effect until after 2016. That was done by Obama. He pushed the employer mandates forward. I want you to tell us what that's going to mean for about 80 million people. Wait, when we come back. So we'll come to Betsy first. More of the panel straight ahead. Don't go away. All right, welcome back. The Malzberg panel, Betsy McCaughey and Adam Thompson. Betsy, explain to the American public, as Donald Trump did in part, but was non-specific, and what the Republicans will never do because they stink when it comes to communicating. What is going to happen after 2016? Go ahead.
There's much more pain ahead because of Obamacare. For example, the Cadillac tax. Most people have never heard of this. This is a 40% tax on generous health plans. it is going to hit almost everybody who gets their coverage through an employer, either your own employer or your spouse's employer. Already, employers are planning on how they're going to cut back on your health benefits to avoid this tax. So that's going to clobber you after the 2016 election. And that's by design. The worst pain from this law is designed to hit you after the 2016 election when the president is long gone.
Yeah, it just angers the heck out of me that John Boehner didn't say that when he took to the microphone today. Let's move on. The IRS, and Adam, it was revealed today that two things. First of all, evidence was destroyed during the probe of the IRS targeting. Lois Lerner's hard drive was like put through, I forget what it was, like a grinder. I mean, it was just destroyed, chopped up, kaputs. And there's all kinds of talk. The IRS workers mistakenly erased Tea Party emails. I mean, this is like a cover-up. The most obvious, blatant type of dishonesty. There's talk of impeaching the head of the IRS over what he told Congress, and they're getting away with it.
Yeah, this is pretty outlandish. If you had this in any other kind of case, you'd be seeing a judge doing the most severe kind of sanctions or contempt of court. You know, the ramifications would be huge. You have a situation where an actual hard drive was supposedly put through a shredder. Now, when this discovery order is in place, a lawyer has to respond to it, or in this case, an agency. When they fail to do that, they are in contempt of court. But to find out that they knowingly destroyed the evidence takes it to a whole new level. This is very serious, and heads should roll over this.
Betsy?
Yes, and unfortunately, the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, is not going to do anything about it, just like her predecessor, Eric Holder, didn't do anything about it. But the Congress has the power through impeachment to remove agency heads and cabinet officers. And that is the procedure that should be put into place, because you don't need the president to conduct an impeachment.
No, that's absolutely right, and that's what some are now talking about actually doing. All right, now to the absurd here. Today Apple took the Civil War game apps out of the Apple Store. We've had just a whirlwind of the Amazon. Now they won't sell anything with the Confederate flag. Target, this one, that one, you name it. And now we've heard talk on CNN about getting rid of the Jefferson Memorial. It's just insane. But
you must the Jefferson Memorial.
Oh, maybe I got it wrong. The the Jefferson Memorial. Yeah, because he owned slaves. But here's another one. There's a story today, and you know what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If that's the road they're going down, Hillary is going to speak at a Virginia Democratic Party's Jefferson Jackson dinner tomorrow in Northern Virginia, and she's coming under fire for speaking at an event named after slave owners. This is insane.
Guess what? When Bill Clinton ran for president, they had campaign buttons with the Confederate flag on it.
I was just going to say that.
Well, not only that, of course, he signed Confederate Flag Day into law as governor of Arkansas, and it flew over the State House. He defended Robert Byrd's joining of the KKK by saying he was just trying to get elected, and he praised William Fulbright, a segregationist who signed the Southern Manifesto, as his hero and his mentor. Betsy?
You're right about that.
The hypocrisy, if I could jump in, Steve, is just outlandish. And it just shows how politics plays all different sways depending where the wind's going, what polls might be showing. If it's going to help you get votes in a certain location or state, they'll say that. If it won't, then they'll change their view. You know, I just wish people would have more integrity and speak their mind. And what Apple's doing, going to ban certain games now? It's like, listen, there's all kind of war strategy games with World War II going all the way back to have Rome fight against Sparta. I mean, where does it end that all this weird political correctness over words? It's just words, ideas.
I'll tell you when it ends.
Where does it stop? I might agree with Adam on something.
Yeah, it ends when CNN tells us it can end. That's when it'll end. Hey, thank you very much, both of you, Betsy and Adam. Thank you very much. I'm seeing John Sununu's name because he's next.